Another crazy journey, another chance to go and change the past. But I know how the story will go, 'cause all these legends I carry with me, all these lifetimes that only I see, I'm taken to this place in between, where I've been and where I'll be. Turn back time, oh, gonna hit rewind and find that all these memories, discoveries, these fantasies, they stay with me. Turn back time, oh, gonna hit rewind, remember all the tales of all the people that I meet, 'cause I have to leave them all behind and then repeat. Don't forget this pain and regret, so I can learn from the tragedy and change the course of this history. Move through time, oh, oh. Don't overlook the signs, oh, oh. Now I see, oh, it's my responsibility. Turn back time, oh, gonna hit rewind and find that all these memories, discoveries, these fantasies, they stay with me. Turn back time, oh, gonna hit rewind, remember all the tales of all the people that I meet, 'cause I have to leave them all behind and then repeat.
I'm tired of looking like a ghost. Is my phone that knows my secrets though? I know that I should tell my friends, but then I can't play pretend. Fireworks out my window, the fake stars that I've grown to know. Daunted by my phone screen, when I know that I should sleep. Maybe this is it for me. A teen haunted by reality. Who never wants to have to face responsibilities, but is haunted by reality. I said my goodbyes over the phone. I'm moving town you didn't know. Couldn't tell you face to face. Thought that I should leave this place. Fireworks past my window, the fake stars that I did know. You're here on my.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday evening live tutorial. How are y'all doing? Wherever you are out there today, I hope everyone is doing well. We have a fun earring class for y'all tonight. We have our hammered chandelier earrings, which is this one. So really, if you're talking about making earrings, there's a whole lot of kind of variations on a theme. Hi Ace and Lori, and hi Heather on the stream, even though she's, you know, right over there. she's right back there. Can say hi to her in person anytime I want to. But yeah, so when you're doing chandelier earrings, there's a whole lot of variations on the theme that you can do, which is basically, you know, make some kind of cool component, hang things from it, and then attach it onto an ear wire. And so really this is just kind of exploring one of those variations on a theme. So let's talk tools and supplies for this particular pair of chandelier earrings. You are going to need wire in 2 gauges. You're going to need some 18 gauge wire. That is this one right here. This is a bit of a heavier gauge wire, and that's going to be for the actual, you know, kind of bottom part of your chandelier earring. And then you're going to need some 26 gauge wire, and that's what we're going to use to attach our wires. And let it be noted that all of our wires are going to be attached with basic wire wrap loops. Alright, so this is going to be actually a really good kind of dive into basic wire wrapping, because there are a solid 7 of these per earring, 7 wire wrap links per earring. So if you are looking for a bit of review on basic wire wrapping, tonight's tutorial is actually a good way to get that. You are also going to need some beads. You're going to need a pair of top drilled teardrop beads, and then you are going to need 14 small faceted round or rondelle beads. And by small faceted, I mean usually about between 3 and 4 millimeters, and I'm going to need to at some point pick out 14 of them from this little dish, which might be messy, but I will figure that out in a little bit. As far as tools go, you're going to need your tools that I didn't bring over here with me. Be right back. Well, obviously today is not that day. Okay, so as I was saying before, I realized that I forgot my tools. Hi everybody! You're going to need for this project your 3 basic wire working hand tools. So that is going to be your chain nose pliers, it's going to be your round nose pliers, and your wire cutter. And then you are also going to need, and I'm going to try real hard not to like drop anything in Heather's area, you're going to need a chasing hammer. Chasing hammer is unique because your chasing hammer has a convex head, so that allows you to hammer on your wire without getting a tool mark from the edge of your hammer on your wire. And then you are going to need something upon which to hammer. So in this case, that's going to be your bench block or bench block equivalent. So I just have my round steel bench block. Hey look, there's my camera, and let's see, there's me. Hi. Guess it's a very shiny bench block. All my lights. Oh hey, I didn't turn on my ring light. Look at that. Now I did. Yeah, so hammer, bench block, 3 tools, round nose, chain nose cutters, and that's pretty much all you need to make the earrings in this evening's tutorial. So we're going to start by cutting our 18 gauge wire. Now, how big you cut your 18 gauge wire piece really depends on how big you want this bottom kind of M4 shaped portion of of your earrings to be. So I am going to go with kind of medium large for my size. So I'm going to cut myself 2 pieces of 18 gauge wire, each of which are 3 inches long. Again, if you want a smaller earring, if you want to, you know, minimize that, then just cut yourself a shorter piece. If you want a big ass earring, a la Amy A, then cut yourself a bigger piece. But for now, I'm going to go with 2 pieces, each of which are 3 inches long. And that again is of my 18 gauge wire. Now, if you wanted to make this chunkier, you could absolutely make it out of 16 as well. If you wanted to make a really dainty earring, like if you really wanted to minimize this and just make it super tiny, you could also use 20 gauge, but I will caution you that the 20 gauge is not as sturdy as the 18 gauge, so keep it little if you're doing 20 gauge. Alright, I'm going to find myself a marker and I'm going to measure and mark the center of each of my pieces of wire. So if my wire is 3 inches, that means my center is going to be at about 1.5 inches. I say about 1.5 inches because my wire is only about 3 inches long. It's a little bit longer actually. So I've measured and I've marked at my center, which again is approximately 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers and I'm going to grab right next to that mark. So when you're trying to bend wire on a mark, of course you want to grab next to the mark, not on top of the mark, because the bend is going to happen next to your pliers. So if you grab on the mark, the bend is going to then happen off center. So I'm going to grab next to my mark and I'm just going to push my wire up against my pliers to make a 90-degree angle, and there is my bend. And actually did a fairly decent job of that, getting it right on the mark. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing with my other wire. And so what that is kind of the little, you know, peak at the bottom of my, wow, I have the yawning yet. It's not even a sale. Goodness gracious. Definitely need to drink more caffeine. So the way that you get this kind of pinched and curved shape is literally by pinching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, sorry Lori, wow, and you're even a couple hours earlier, so it's way too early for you to be yawning. If Corvus were here, she would be berating all of us old fogies for all of our yawningness. Maybe I should, you know, start making this the geriatric stream, and I should stream at like 3 p.m. so that everyone can eat dinner at 4 and be in bed by 5. Is it bad that actually sounds really good to me? I feel like that's bad. Anyway, continuing on. So I've made my little bend at the bottom. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. I'm going to try real hard not to slip and pinch my fingers with them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that end and I'm going to pinch it together like so. Okay, so what I've done is I've created a little fold in the bottom. All right, Ace is on board with the stream at 4, dinner at 5, in bed by 6 plan. It's true, but apparently, you know,
But Allison is,
apparently the pandemic has made geriatrics of some of us,
yeah.
whether we are or not chronologically. Oh, afternoon naps. Okay, so there's my little pinch. Now I'm just gonna take my 2 ends and I'm gonna pull them out, and notice that what that does is that creates that nice kind of little point at the bottom of my shape. Now I could do this freehand, but I could also use a mandrel, which is what I am gonna do. So then I'm gonna take this around a mandrel just to make the rest of my shape, like so. Obviously repeat for your second one, because earrings usually come in pairs, because most of us come with a pair of ears. Not all of us, but most of us. Alright, so then you have this shape. Alright, and now we're going to do this little bit at the top where our wire wraps are going to be attached. So the way that you're going to do that is you're going to take your round nose pliers, and you're going to take the very end of the round nose pliers, and you're actually going to roll 2 teeny little loops at the ends of your wire, and you want to make sure that the ends of your wire are even. So if you have not succeeded in creating your shape centered on your wire and your ends are uneven, you are going to need to trim them so that they are even. So when you're evening up wire, of course your solution has to be shortening the long wire, since there's really no mechanism to lengthen the short wire. Now I'm lucky because I actually did do a solid job of measuring. My ends are pretty good. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers, I'm going to make 2 little tiny loops, and I'm going to make those going in towards the center, like so. And this is going to look a little bit awkward for a minute here, and you're going to be like, why am I making these loops this direction? Because this just looks bizarre. But I promise in just a minute all will be made clear. Okay, so I've got my 2 loops that are going in towards the middle of my wire. So then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to take that looped bit and I'm going to bend it down towards the outside, and that's where we get our more pleasing shape, like on our sample. Ta-da! Alright, now we're going to do the same thing with our other shape, and of course this one is not completely centered, so I'm going to go ahead and nip that. And then I want to make my 2 tiny little loops that are going towards the center. Again, looking a little bit awkward. Which is fine, because then we're going to take our round nose and we're just going to bend those down to the outside, like so. And make sure that you bend them so that they come even. And ideally, you want your 2 components to match. So those are my 2 bottom components for my earrings. So that, that kind of handle technique is a really elegant way to sort of make a hanger on almost anything. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to hammer them flat. So it means I'm going to take my bench block and I'm going to put my wire on my bench block, and I'm going to take my chasing hammer and I'm going to literally hammer the entirety of my wire flat. During this process, I'm going to be very careful not to smack my fingers with my hammer, because even though it is a small hammer, it still hurts. And it is going to get a bit loud for a minute, so if you want to turn my volume down on your computer, tablet, phone, or other listening device, I'll give you a moment to do that. And hammering, here we go. So hammering does 2 things. Number 1, it just flattens your wire and gives it a different look. So that's the aesthetic part of hammering. So that's my hammered piece of wire versus my non-hammered piece of wire. So it's just a little different look. I definitely love the hammered look. Number 2 is hammering work hardens your wire, meaning it hardens your wire in shape. It makes it stronger in whatever shape in which you've formed it. And that's Really nice, obviously, because it keeps your earrings from bending out of shape. I know we have the time change next week. I hates it. I hates it so much. I'm going to be feeling jet lagged for like the next 3 weeks because of stupid daylight savings time. Or undaylight savings time, I don't even know. Hi, Smee! How are you? How is the wild and woolly world of San Antonio? How are the breakfast tacos? Smee has got her rock collection up and sent us photos of it, which definitely made me jealous. Okay, so now I've got my two components. They're all done. So now, oh, San Antonio is sunny and beautiful. Well, to be fair, Dallas today was also sunny and beautiful, despite the fact that I was inside for the whole day and didn't get to enjoy most of the sunny. But I'm sure Mamie and Mamie and Ziggy enjoyed it plenty for me. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the chains that are going to hang this component from our ear wires. So what we're going to do is we are going to, first of all, we're going to untangle this. We're going to make these basic wire linked sections, and we're going to do 3 beads per section. So that means I need to find 12 beads in my little dish. So that's going to take me a minute, so talk amongst yourselves. Amy said no breakfast tacos today. She has to pace herself. Why do you have to pace yourself with breakfast tacos? Breakfast tacos don't have any calories, right? Am I wrong in that? Did somebody steer me wrong in telling me that breakfast tacos have no calories?
No.
No. See? Heather agrees with me that breakfast tacos have no calories. Breakfast tacos have only nutrition and nothing else, right?
Exactly.
All of the proteins and nutritions, none of the fats and calories. So says me. Seriously, Amy, we miss you. What am I doing? 6, 7, 14. 2, 4, 6, 8. I've not found nearly enough. 9. Oh, you're not the right bead. You're the bead I was looking for. 9. Oh my gosh, there's so much funny stuff in that English invoice.
It's so good.
Did you see the carnelian rectangles?
No.
Probably not because I sold them, but you should look at it anyway. Yes. Oh, Laith is employed. What's Laith? Right?
Camellia rectangle.
Yes, there you go. So what's Laith doing? Laith is apparently gainfully employed. 3, 6, 9, 12. 2 more, y'all. Look out, world. It's a redhead with a paycheck. Mayhem is bound to ensue. How's Heidi doing? Oh, I was asking Amy how Heidi was doing. I mean, you might know, but...
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No more than you do.
Okay. So, now we're about to embark is the word I'm looking for, on making a chain of beads with basic wire wrapped loops. So I'm going to take my 26 gauge wire and I'm just going to cut myself a piece of wire off of which to work that's about a foot or so long. And now we are going to embark on our basic wire wrapped loop technique. So the way I'm going to construct this is I'm going to make 4 sets of 3, and then I'm going to attach each of those to my components that I made, and then I'm going to attach them both together at the top with 1. Now the reason that I'm not going to do my sets of 3 and attach them with 1 and then attach them to my components is because it's very difficult in that instance to get everything on there straight. Things tend to get turned and twisted. So, basic wire wrap loop. In my opinion, the single most useful thing that you can possibly teach yourself how to do, well, I mean, that's what happens when you keep switching jobs. At least she got all her W-2s. So anyway, basic wire wrap loop starts with your round nose pliers, okay? So I'm going to take your round nose pliers and you're going to grab with your round nose pliers, and I'm going to grab fairly close to the end of my pliers because I want to make a pretty small loop and I want to give myself a solid inch or so of wire above my pliers so that I've got plenty to grab onto. I'm going to push my wire away from me over my pliers to make a 90-degree angle. I'm going to loosen my pliers, rotate them, and I'm going to grab right on that corner. So all I've done is I've repositioned my pliers by moving them independently of the wire. Okay, so notice I didn't move my wire at all during that motion, just my pliers. Now I'm going to take my wire, pull it back up over the top of my pliers and down until it hits the wire in front. So now you can see I'm starting to form a loop around the round jaw of my pliers. And it's really important that you form your wire really tightly around the jaw so that you get a round loop. That's why we use the round pliers to make the round loops, is so that we can essentially use them as a stencil. Now I need to finish this loop, but I can't right now because this jaw of my pliers right here is in the way. So I just need to loosen my pliers again, rotate that out of the way, grab again, and then take my wire and push it underneath my pliers and away from me, like so. So what I want in this instance is a right angle between these two pieces of wire and a nice rounded loop around my pliers. And this is what we call Our Lady with a scarf, because it looks like a lady if she were in a convertible motoring along with a long scarf trailing out behind her. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to hold across my loop parallel to my scarf wire like this, and then I'm going to wrap my scarf wire around what is essentially my body wire. So I'm just going to start at the base of that loop and I'm going to wrap around once and twice and 3rd time's the charm. So I've got 3 nice tight coils there. And then I'm going to trim off that excess wire. When I trim off my wire, I'm going to have a little pokey stabby bit. And I just want to press that down so that it's not sticking out. Sometimes you have to go at it from a couple different angles to get that to work. Once I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and string on one of my beads. And by the way, I did choose these little 3mm pyrite beads for this. Alright, so now I've got my pyrite bead on my wire. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and when I grab, I want to make sure I grab so that I'm looking at the side of the loop that I've already made, not through the hole in the middle. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, and underneath, like so. And then I can go ahead and hold across my loop with my chain nose pliers and wrap closed. Like so. Go ahead and trim. And then after you've trimmed, make sure to press down your little pokey stabby bits. And again, sometimes you have to go with that for a couple of angles, or from a couple of angles, in order to get it to just sort of lay down. Ta-da! Alright, so that is link number 1. And somehow this did not turn out ideally. What I really want is I want those 2 loops to be in the same plane. So I want to be able to look through the center of both loops together, which now I can. Now I'm going to start my second loop. So we're going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. So that's my lady with the scarf. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that link that I just made, and I'm going to pick one of the 2 loops, and I'm just going to thread my wire through that loop, and I'm just going to bring that link up and pop it so that those 2 loops are now interlocked. Then hold across my loop and wrap, starting at the base of my loop and going down for the same ideally amount of wraps that I did here, which I believe was 3. So 1. Now, if it gets too tiny, too difficult to hold, you can grab either another chain nose or round nose pliers and just grab at the end and use that. Well, smack your camera, of course, because it's me. Use that to pull your wire around so that you can get nice tight wraps, even if it's difficult for you to get your fingers on that piece of wire. Once you've done your 3 wraps, like so, then we're going to trim. And I'm going to press down. Okay, so now we're on link number 2 of 3. So I'm going to take my bead, and we're going to thread that on there, like so. And now we're going to do a second loop on our second link, which means I'm going to take my round nose pliers, I'm going to hold them so they're touching the top of that bead. I'm going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, underneath. That makes our second, or actually I guess this is our 4th lady with a scarf. Hold across and wrap. Ta-da! Okay, so now we have one more in this particular sequence. So once again, we start with our bare wire, and we go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. That's our lady with the scarf. Link it onto the chain that you are making, and then wrap it closed. So this particular method of chaining, this is exactly how you make your own station chain. This is exactly how you make a chain out of wire and beads. So you can do this pretty much with any bead. It's time consuming for sure, but it's definitely super rewarding when you get done and you have this cool, you know, chain of beads and you're like, hey, I made that. That's awesome. I have so many projects that I want to do using this technique. Unfortunately, I don't have time to do any of them, but I really love this technique, and I think it makes really professional looking things You know, the wire wrapped things that I have tend to be, you know, more the things that I get the questions about of like, oh, did you buy that at Neiman's? Did you buy that at, you know, Korshak? Like, what designer is that? Like, it's the wire working that definitely makes a huge difference. And that sort of thing. So now I'm on link number 3 of my first chain of 3. Got my bead on there, and then I'm going to do my basic wire wrap loop. Which again is away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, underneath. I don't need to worry about the ends on any of these. I can just go ahead and close them all up because my component is open, and then I'm going to use one more wire wrap to attach everything. Alright, so that is... Hey, Nathan, we are good. How are you? We are just hanging out, making a pair of earrings. So I just cut, and I'm going to tuck in my pointy stabby. And that is my first chain of 3. So now I've just got to make 3 more of those, and I am going to do those off camera because I'm going to be a lot faster at it that way. But so once again, yay! Weekends are exciting. What exciting is going on in your world, TMH Nathan? Aside from, you know, there's another Beading Dreams tutorial on Saturday and a live sale, but what's going on in your world this weekend? That's pretty much what's going on in my world this weekend. So again, I'm going to continue to make wire wrap chains, and my goal is 4 chains, 3 beads each. Oh yay! So what, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do? Okay, so this is link number 1 of my second link, or sorry, of my second chain of 3. And once again, so now if you didn't want to do all of this wire linking by hand, you could absolutely buy a pre-linked station chain, and station chain is, or rosary chain is the word for the chain that you can actually buy by the foot that is linked like this, and there's absolutely no reason you couldn't buy, you know, 6 inches or so of station chain and then just kind of section it out to what you need. Well, okay, TMH Nathan has a way cooler job than I do.
Right?
Goodness.
I know.
That sounds awesome. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here making bead stuff on the internet. So Nathan, do you actually craft? Do you do beading or wire work or art, or are you just kind of hanging out, enjoying the crafty vibe? Just because it's always interesting, like, oh hey Tallyfet! Oh, diamond paintings! Who else does diamond paintings?
I do.
Well,
Okay.
I know you do, but who else does? Is it Tallyfet? Somebody else on the stream does diamond paintings. It's not me. Yes, Tallyfet. Okay, yay. So Tallyfet and Heather, Heather's the faraway voice in the background. If you come back at about 7:45 Central Time, you'll actually get to see Heather. You get to see her beautiful face on the sales stream. But currently she's just the voice in the background. But so since you're new to the channel, we are, so yeah, I'm Allison, the voice in the background is Heather. We actually have a brick and mortar retail bead shop. We're here in Dallas, Texas. So we actually have physical premises. Ace can verify this because he's actually been to our premises, and Nathan is shouting at you. Yeah, we actually have physical premises. We have a brick and mortar, like 4 walls bead store. We're here on Lovers Lane in Dallas, Texas, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 1 to 6. And then we are on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream. We do 5 tutorials a week, and we stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and then Thursdays at noon. That means I am going to be back tomorrow with a noon tutorial, provided that nothing in my life goes sideways. Knock on all of the wood. I'm so done with that business. So tomorrow at noon I'm going to be doing another earring project. This is what I'm calling our infinity earrings. This was actually a component that sort of happened for me by accident while I was trying to do something else, and so that's going to be tomorrow's class. And then we're going to do a wee scotch of top drilled wire wrapping tonight, but tomorrow's going to be more top drilled wire wrapping with hats. So wire wraps with hats tomorrow, plus another earring component. But of course, we've all got to survive tonight. Tonight we do have a live merchandise sale starting at around, it's considering it's only 7 o'clock and I still have 2 more chains to make, it's definitely going to start around 7:45 p.m. tonight. And that's going to be new gemstone beads, and also some of those pretty stained glass and dried flower pendants that I made for the Irish Festival last weekend. So yeah, fun times happening on the Beading Dream stream tonight at 7:45. Of course, I need to get my butt through these earrings first, so I'm just going to continue plugging along. I've got 2 chains made of 4, which means I should probably stop talking and just start doing things. But then it's just dead air. I could turn the music back on, but then I just have to turn it off again when I start talking again. Ah! That's awesome. Uh-oh. Okay. Music is pretty loud. Ace, how do I make the music not be so loud? I mean, I can always just skip the music. There's that. I'm assuming, is there a volume setting on Spotify? Oh, the joys of attempting stream upgrades, and the fact that I don't have a bloody clue what I'm doing as far as, you know, streaming goes. I started it 2 years ago. And so I keep trying to make fancy things happen with the stream, and then it's like, oh crap! That fancy thing just exploded on me. So, alright, so according to Ace, there's a button on Spotify, a volume. There's not any music now, Nathan, but there will be once I'm done with the stream. It's a new addition, is music in the beginning and the end of the stream. And also, if I get to a point where I can't verbally vamp whilst I'm doing a project, I will also turn it on then, but I'm apparently chatty tonight. But we have new people. We have to chat with the new people.
Very interesting new people at that.
I know, it's true. But, oh, and now the wire's on the floor, so I'm going to cut myself a new piece of wire. So, I started with a foot of wire or so for my chains. That piece that I dropped on the floor was about 4 inches long, so that means I definitely would have still needed to cut another foot in order to finish my project. So your grand total for 26 gauge wire for this project is going to be somewhere between 2 feet and 3 feet, and that just depends on how conservative you are with your wire wrapping, whether you need, you know, whether you're, you know, preserving more or wasting more. So this is my 3rd chain of 4. So I've got 2 links, and once again, I've just made my lady with a scarf there. I've linked it on to my existing links, and I'm going to hold across those links with my chain nose pliers, and then I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to wrap it around, starting at the base of my loop, and again, 2.5 to 3 times is usually a good amount, like so. You want to go for your wire wraps to be close together and tight to your core wire, and then trim your edge off. I break my dreams. It's kind of like beading dreams, except slightly more nihilistic. So what I am making, there we go. Okay, so I've tucked in my end so that it's not stabby. Now I'm going to put my bead on. So welcome in. And yeah, so what we're making today is this pair of earrings, which I've called our hammered chandelier earrings, basically because after 2 solid years of streaming, I am running out of interesting names for classes. So basically, it's just a riff on the concept of, like, you know, in order to make an earring, you can absolutely just like take a piece of wire. So this is 18 gauge gold filled wire, and I shaped it. You can shape it however you want. So this was this cool little sort of, thanks, amphora shape. You know, the project I'm doing tomorrow at noon is very similar. It's just a different shape. So you can basically take a piece of wire, make a cool shape, hang some beads off of it, and have an awesome earring. And then I'm adding, instead of just buying a chain by the foot to connect these up to the ear wire, I'm actually making my own wire wrapped chains, 3 beads long. So I am currently on chain, I'm still on chain 3 of 4, y'all. I am not doing well speed wise tonight. Oh, there's already a bead on there. So anyway, yeah, so we're just using basic wire wrapping and some heavy gauge wire, a little bit of hammering to make a fun pair of earrings. And yeah, so that's this evening's project. The other earrings are tomorrow's project, and then tomorrow night is Torch Thursday, which means that I will be lighting up live on stream tomorrow evening to do a soldering project. It is actually a stamping and soldering project. It's our 1-word ring. We had a stamping and soldering project that was supposed to be on stream a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately that was when we got snowed out, and so I wasn't able to do it because I don't have all the supplies for that at my home studio. So I decided.
Also, we don't want feline plumbing.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, so Kenneth, which I never heard back from Kenneth, which worries me a bit, but Kenneth, who's one of our stream viewers, Kilroy, came in the other day to pick up some of his live sale merchandise, and I was talking about how this Friday is Freeform Friday. So what Freeform Friday is, for anybody who's not familiar, is where I just pick a project, and it's not so much a tutorial as like a demonstration. So I'll just pick a project that I want to do, and I'll do it on stream from start to finish. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it's a disaster. I'll usually try and pick something that is mildly challenging to me, so there really is an element of I might completely screw it up on the internet, which is of course always, suspense is always exciting for the viewers and such. But so I was telling Kenneth that this Freeform Friday would be a torch project unless we got snowed in, because there is a snowflake in the forecast for Dallas on Friday. And no one in the city of Dallas, except for Heather, is excited about the prospect of a snowflake on Friday.
Yay!
Heather's excited enough for all the people who aren't excited. But so if we get snowed in, we're not going to be here at the store. I'll be streaming from my house. I don't have A, I don't have all of the equipment to do soldering stuff at my house, but B, I have 2 cats who are very enthusiastic about participating in my streams, and so I made a comment to Kenneth about how nobody wants a flaming cat running through the house. That's no one's idea of a good day. And he just completely deadpan looks at me. He's like, yeah, no one likes a feline flambe. So that was a really long way of saying that, yeah, if we get snowed in on Friday, there will be no torch classes because no one likes a feline flambe. Also, feline flambe is on the button list.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm almost done with my second chain of 3, which is good because it's 7:07 and I was supposed to be done 7 minutes ago with the tutorial. So one more bead goes on this chain, and then we're going to start actually putting these earrings together. Wait, who wants... So Tallyfat and Heather can have all of the snow.
And Corvus, we're gonna move somewhere else and start our own compound. It's gonna be awesome.
Good for y'all. You can have it. Take all the cold and all the snow, and I cede it to you willingly. 'Cause me no likey the snow. Nope, nope. Big old nope person when it comes to cold and snow.
The temperature on Friday keeps going down, but it's still rain for me. So
Really? You don't have a
I
snowflake?
don't have a snowflake. I have a rain cloud.
Weird. Heather has a raindrop on her weather app. I have a snowflake.
I have several raindrops.
I mean, I have several raindrops and a snowflake.
Gotcha.
Like, I mean, I'm sorry, it can't precipitate when it's 28 degrees and still be rain. That's not the way that weather works. Okay, so, finally, I have successfully completed my chains. So I've got 4 chains of 3 beads each that I've wire wrapped. We're going to totally ignore the fact that that one really needs to be tucked in. And we're going to continue on with making these earrings. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach a chain to each of these ends. So that means I'm just going to open that up a bit, open this up a bit, and then grab a chain, string it on, and then here's the important thing. Excuse me, so sorry. Close everything up. So that chain has to stay on there. Yes, once it's on there, it does not get to go anywhere. So again, you're going to open up that loop, you're going to open up that curve, take your chain, thread it on, and then close everything up. Like so. Repeat with your other earring. Alright, and then we are so close to the end. We just have 6 more wire wraps to do. I promise it's not that many. Also promise that I'm throwing things. Alright. Close and close. There we go. And repeat. Open. Open. Thread it on. And then close and close. Okay, so those are our chains added onto our earring components that we made. Now we're going to go ahead and add the 2 basic wire wrap links on the top that are going to hold everything together. So this is just more of the same, which is a way rotate back up over the top, rotate underneath, lady with the scarf, and then grab your earring, and you're just going to thread that through both of these open kind of dangling loops at the top. Alright, so I've got 2 loops that are open at the top that are not attached to anything except for now that they are. I'm just going to go ahead and thread them into that loop that I just made, and then hold across and wrap. Okay, I will say that I love, so hold across, and then we're going to wrap the short one around 3 times. I love my Google Nest thermostat. I love the fact that I can control my furnace and my air conditioner from my phone wherever I am in the house. Meaning if I'm sitting on the couch under a blanket but I'm chilly, I can get my phone and I can make the furnace go on without having to get my ass out into the cold house to actually turn up the thermostat. It's the best. I mean, we're not going to talk about my heating and cooling bills because that's not something that I want to talk about. But it's amazing being able to control it from wherever I am, and even like being able to, and I don't necessarily always remember this, but being like on my way home and being able to turn on the furnace before I get home so the house is warm when I get there. Sometimes technology is an absolute bear, and sometimes it's the best. Okay, so now I've got a bead on here, and we're going to go ahead and do one more wire wrap loop, like so.
I know, I'm fired.
Oh,
I know.
alright, fine, but you better come back to work in time for the sale in half an hour. You can be fired for like 5 minutes. Punning on the Beading Dreams stream, if you're a Beading Dreams employee, is a fireable offense. But it's only a ceremonial firing. Alright, so there we go, and that's where my ear wire is going to be attached. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat for the other earring. So I've got my lady with a scarf. Right there. And then I'm going to thread that onto my 2 dangling loops here. And wrap it closed. Make sure you hold everything nice and firmly when you're wrapping closed. If you don't, it's just going to make everything a little bit harder to deal with. There's that. And trim. It bears mentioning, the shorter you trim your ends, the easier it is to kind of tuck them in. So I left mine a little too long, and so had to cut it shorter. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I've lost a bead. I swear I had 14 beads, and now I do not have 14 beads. I only have 13 beads. So, yeah, now I'm gonna find another bead.
No?
I got it.
Okay.
I know there's gotta be one in here because I say so. I would Ziggy, were he present?
No,
I mean, I can still blame Ziggy. It's true. Okay, so I found a bead, so now I'm going to put that bead onto...
or one of Mamie's treasures.
Right? Goodness. Yes, I had to save a snake from Mamie last night.
And there was also the snake you weren't able to save.
And there was also the desiccated snake that I was not able to save, but the one last night was verifiably alive when I saved it from Mamie. Alright, last basic wire wrap. And wrap. Yeah, she's a way better hunter than Ziggy. Which is funny, because she's the cute, sweet one. Alright, so that is... Right, Ziggy hunts humans, which is not... Ziggy hunts things that he can't kill. And Mamie hunts things that she can kill. So maybe she's not a better hunter, she's just a smarter hunter. She's like, this is where I am in the food chain. I don't know where you think you are on the food chain, large hissy brother of mine, but I know the things that I can murder. Alright, and last thing we're going to do before we put our ear wires on is we're going to take our teardrops and we're going to attach those to our ear wires. So this, once again, is a technique that we're going to go into more if you tune into our tutorial tomorrow at noon. I'm just going to give you a really brief rundown of it tonight. So you're going to take your wire, put it through your teardrop, bend it up against the holes of the teardrop to make a triangle. And then you're going to grab the longer of those two wires and you're going to bend it straight up so that your wire is centered over the central axis of your bead. You're going to wrap the short wire around the long wire. And we want to do that about 1.5 to 2 times and then trim your wire off. And again, if you have a pokey stabby bit, just press that down so that it is no longer pokey nor stabby. And now we're going to make a basic wire wrap loop on top of that. So away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, underneath. That's my lady with the scarf. I'm going to take that. I'm going to link it onto my earring component, and my goal is that it's going to sit right in there. If I need to, I can take my pliers and just really gently pull that apart just a little more, because the idea is you want that wire wrap loop to just drop right down into that point like so. And then we're going to hold the crossway loop like so, and then wrap down until you meet the end of the wrap that's already there. Right, once you've met the end of the loop that's already there, and I know it's kind of hard to see because everything's in the way, but you're going to trim that off, press down your pokey stabby, and ideally we want that to drop right down in there like so. Now we're going to go ahead and repeat with our second drop. Like so. Wrap. 1.5 to 2 times. That's the reason I only do 1.5 to 2 instead of 3 on this end, is because we're about to do another wrap and come down, and I don't want there to be too much wire. So there's that, and then we're going to do our basic wire wrap loop, which is away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, underneath. Again, I may need to take this And by me, I mean I definitely need to take this, grab it, and just separate it out a little bit so I've got a little bit more space. Take that. Thread that on there. Make sure you pop it on so that it is around that wire component that you made. And then just hold across your loop and wrap down until you reach the end that you already have finished. So that's usually going to be about 3 or 3.5 times. Trim. Press your end down. So, and then the last thing that we need to do to make these a functional pair of earrings, of course, is add ear wires. That's pretty simple. Most ear wires have a basic loop that you can just twist open, drop your earring component on there, and twist it closed. Make sure that you close it all the way, right? You don't want any airspace, between your end of your wire and your actual ear wire itself. And we're going to repeat. Twist open, drop your wire on, close, and there you go. So thank y'all so much for joining us for our hammered chandelier earrings tutorial tonight. Yes, there we go. We finished a pair of earrings. Little late, but better late than never. So thank y'all so much for hanging out with us tonight. Yeah, my camera just does not want to focus on those. But thank y'all so much for hanging out with us tonight on the Beading Dreams stream. So of course I am Allison from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. Myself and my right-hand woman Heather will be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream, in just about half an hour. Sale's going to start a little late tonight because the tutorial ended a little late, and I still have exactly the same number of things I have to do in between the sale, or the tutorial and the sale. So we'll be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream, in about 30 minutes. Join us. It's going to be loads of fun. I've got handmade stained glass and dried flower pendants for you tonight, and brand new gemstone merchandise. So yeah, join us back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream, in half an hour for the sale. If we're not going to see you for the sale, thank you so much for hanging out with us on the tutorial stream. And don't forget, we do this tutorial thingy 5 times a week. We stream Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, plus Thursdays at noon. Wednesday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, plus Thursdays at noon is what I meant to say. So that means we'll be back tomorrow with, today's not 8/14, with our infinity earrings. So hopefully we'll see you guys then. But of course, I hope I see everybody on the live sale stream that's going to start in just half an hour on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream. So thanks all so much, and we will see you soon.
Phone screen. Think it's best if I sleep.